From America's farm to fork capital and some of the richest farmland in the world, it's time for What's in Season with Michael Marks.
Well, thanks so much for joining us once again. This is our April version of What's in Season with Michael Marks. I am your host, Michael Marks, your produce man, and we're going to take a walk down the produce aisle, and we're going to gather some produce, and you are going to learn so much in 30 minutes than most people learn in a lifetime. So thank you so much for joining us. You know, April is the time where we start thinking about summertime, we start thinking about salads. You know, the soup pot goes away, the stew pot goes away, we get our big salad bowl out, we start thinking about salads. So salads, of course, begins with lettuce, lots of different lettuces. We're going to start here with iceberg lettuce. We call this head lettuce because it looks like somebody's head, right? So we call it head lettuce, but it's iceberg lettuce because back in the early 1900s, they would harvest this in Salinas, California, and they would load them into railroad cars, and on those railroad cars, they would put shaved ice all over those heads of iceberg head lettuce. And then those railroad cars would go to Boston and Philadelphia and New York, and by the time they got to New York, to Hunts Point, New York, they would open up, the produce guys open up the doors, and it looked like literally hundreds of little tiny icebergs in there, and that's where we get the name iceberg lettuce. Now I wanted to show you something with iceberg lettuce. When you're picking out iceberg lettuce, I always turn it right over and look at where they cut it. It needs to be right in the very center of the head. Sometimes it's off to the side. That's iceberg lettuce that's been stressed out in the fields. It's not going to have a very sweet flavor. So when it's right in the very middle, that's a perfectly grown iceberg lettuce, perfectly grown. Now, of course, romaine lettuce has become very, very popular. Of course, Caesar salads have become super popular. In fact, this is usually in many markets the #1 lettuce. So many other lettuces here. Look at all these little baby lettuces. They are so blame cute. This little butterleaf lettuce, a little red leaf lettuce, a little gem lettuce, which is actually a cross between a butter and a romaine, a red gem, absolutely gorgeous. And then we've started seeing in the past few years this live butterleaf lettuce, which is so cool. And I wanted to show you something. Why do they call it butterleaf lettuce? Well, I'm going to take this out and I'm just going to cut this in half for you, right down the middle, and show you why they call this butterleaf lettuce. Because right in the very center, what's it look like? Yeah, it looks like butter in the very center. That's why it's called butterleaf lettuce. Aren't we brilliant in the produce industry? Oh my goodness. Another thing that's become very, very popular is, of course, this spring mix. Now, spring mix started actually in Italy. And it's very interesting, back in the 15th century it actually began. They called it mescaline mix in Italy. And it actually began in the monasteries, and the monks would pick 12 bitter herbs and lettuces. 12 bitter herbs and lettuce. Do you know why they picked 12? Yeah, it represented the 12 apostles of Christ, right? So that's where they got the name mescaline mix. And today, there's all kinds of greens in this. Now, when you buy this, whether it's in a small package or a big package like this, the first thing I want you to do when you open it up, sniff it. If it smells any hint of ammonia in there at all, any hint of ammonia, then you need to take that back to the store. Take that back to the market. Any hint of ammonia means there's decay in there. It needs to smell super, super fresh. So spring mix, so popular. But I also wanted to show you something. I know what's become very, very popular is the bagged lettuce, right? So I'm just going to take the heart out of this lettuce, and then we're going to cut this lettuce. I want to show you something. You can spend $3.99 for a little 6 ounces of lettuce. Now, each head of lettuce is roughly 16 ounces, so 1 pound. So let me show you what you're going to get for, you know, a couple dollars. You're going to get a whole bunch of lettuce in this bowl. In this bowl. Not just little 6 ounce, not 4.8 ounces, but look at all of this lettuce in there, out of one head of lettuce. And that took me, what, an hour to cut that up? Oh my goodness. And you don't need to have an engineering degree either to cut it up. I did want to also show you how to properly cut your romaine lettuce. There's a couple things I want you to do. Take your knife, take the tip of your knife, start at the cut end, and just cut it right down the very center, and then turn it, and then then cut it one more time, right down the center, just like that. And now you can go back and you can cut that lettuce into nice half-inch or inch pieces, just like so, just like that. Oh my goodness. And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, I need to teach you how in the world do you store your lettuce. Here's what I want you to do. Take your leaf lettuce. In fact, I want you to do this at the store. Take that little band off. Do you see how that red leaf lettuce is standing up at attention like it's a good soldier? That is fresh red leaf lettuce. That's exactly what you're looking for. If it's all wilty and stuff, put it down. So what you're going to do, you're going to find the very center of this lettuce and you're going to tear off the leaves, just like so. You could cut them, but if you could see the leaf underneath a microscope, let me tell you, it looks exactly like a sponge. So if you cut through the sponge, guess what happens with all the water? The water leaches out, right? But as you tear the leaf, then it breaks around the natural cell structure of that leaf. Now you're going to put this in water. You're going to rinse it in water. Please don't soak it. Remember, this is a sponge. Don't soak it in ice cold water. Rinse it in ice cold water and then bring it out and then put it into, you're going to pat dry it, and then you're going to put it into a baggie just like so. And I guarantee you, this lettuce is going to last up to 21 days in your refrigerator, just like so. Hey, don't go away. We have so much more coming. Have you noticed your spuds are getting sprouts on them? I'll tell you about that, so don't go away. All right, well, welcome back to What's in Season with Michael Marks. I am Michael Marks, your produce man. So what in the world is that right there? Oh my goodness, it's so wrinkled. I love it when it's wrinkled because when it's wrinkled, it's ripe. This is called passion fruit, lilikoi if you happen to be from Hawaii. But take a look at this. This is passion fruit. It originated in the Amazon regions of Brazil. In fact, there's a missionary in the 1500s that saw the flower, gorgeous purple flower with white petals on it. And to him, back in the 1500s, it looked like the crown of thorns worn by Christ, which is why they call it passion fruit, the passion of Christ, right? So that's how it even got its name. So what in the world do you do with passion fruit? Let me cut this open and show you what it looks like inside. Yeah, it looks gross inside, doesn't it? Get out, ladies and gentlemen, the vanilla ice cream, and then just take the insides and drizzle it over your vanilla ice cream. I guarantee you, every single one of you have had this. You just didn't know it. A professor at the University of Hawaii tried to figure out, what do we do with lilikoi? He came up with 101 things to do with lilikoi. His best thing that he had, yeah, Hawaiian punch. That's right, and all of you have had Hawaiian punch. That is the punch in Hawaiian punch. Hey, I wanted to talk a little bit about potatoes because there's a fancy word that Nora Olson, she's a scientist of spuds, a professor of potatoes at the University of Idaho. And there's something called a dormancy break. When you harvest potatoes, they come and they go into dormancy. They go to sleep. And a russet potato at 42 degrees will sleep for 175 days. And then physiologically in there, 5 things start happening, and they start waking up, and they start coming up with these little tiny sprouts. So a sprouting spud actually is a very healthy spud because it wants to grow for a new plant for a new season. So when you see these, just pluck off those little sprouts, and you can go ahead and cook them. Also this time of year, all the bulbs, garlic and onions, they can decay. So what I want you to do is check the neck of the onion. That's where it's always going to decay first. So if you start seeing some decay under there, find another onion. Now finally, I want to talk about sweet potatoes. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't let Easter be the last time that you eat sweet potatoes, the healthiest vegetable grown on planet Earth. Hey, don't go away. We still have more coming up just for kids coming up. right, I'm reading my little Ag in the Classroom connection folder. We're going to talk a little bit about Ag in the Classroom. But on here it says portrait on a plate. Oh my goodness gracious. We're going to get your kids, just for kids, to play with their food. Here's how we're going to do it. Mandy Bottoms, you're with us today. Thank you so much for being with us. I appreciate that. Tell us once again, we have so many new viewers. What's Ag in the Classroom?
At Ag in the Classroom, our job is to help teachers teach their students about the #1 industry in California, agriculture.
Did you hear that? #1 industry in California is not Google, it is not high tech, it is agriculture.
That's right. And so our job is just to provide teachers with the resources that they need, the programs that they need, just to make it really easy for them to incorporate agriculture into their classrooms.
All right, so we're trying to get parents to eat more salads, right? Because we've been talking about salads. So we're gonna have, what, a portrait on a plate? We're gonna make a face?
We're going to make a face. You can make anything really, but we're going to work on an animal today, actually.
An animal?
Yeah,
okay, go for it.
So to do this, all you need is a variety of cut up vegetables.
I see some greens,
some lettuce. We're doing a lot of leafy greens. You know, March, Ag in the Classroom, we celebrate leafy greens. So we have a variety of here. We have some kale, some lettuces, and some spinach, and then some other cut up vegetables that they can use to make their portrait on a plate.
Oh, very, very cool.
And then this is just a little bit of hummus. Sometimes kids might get frustrated if it doesn't stick in the right spot. So it helps, it acts as glue.
That's your glue.
That's their glue, and they can eat it too. So
awesome.
Now kids can have as much creative liberty as you want. It's kind of fun to give them assignment, like an animal in the jungle. They can make a lion. I'm gonna make a little, well, maybe I should keep that as a surprise and we can see if you guys can guess.
Okay.
But I think there'll be a couple giveaways at the top, so.
Boy, if I was doing that, I can't even draw stick people. I don't know what I'd do here.
I think your kids or your students, if you're a teacher, will have a lot of fun with this. Now, I'm a big fan of helping kids and students learn how to use knives. And in the classroom, something like this might be a little scary. So they actually make kid-friendly knives also that a lot of students, a lot of teachers get a class set of those knives. And then their students can do cutting just like you do, you know, as a chef or a grown-up at home.
So take your celery sticks, cut them in half, make them smaller.
I need a little something smaller for what I'm working on today.
Okay.
So we'll see. And they can place those.
Oh, I think I see something.
Yeah,
those look like
these.
Whiskers, I think.
Yeah.
So why is Ag in the Classroom so important?
Well, we found that a lot of students, especially in this day and age where they're not growing their own fruits and vegetables, they don't actually understand the process, the food industry of how it gets to their house. So
they see it at the farmer's market or they see it in the grocery store, and that's as far as they know about their fruits and vegetables.
That's right. So we help them understand what happens before it gets to that stage, and we also really encourage students in their schools to have school gardens so that they can also be growing their own fruits and vegetables. So we have a little something here. Maybe it might need a little... Maybe something sticking out the bottom there, if you can see.
So
that.
Is this a, let's see, is this a tiger?
It's not a tiger.
Oh, it's not a tiger.
Good guess. Good guess.
What is it?
This is a bunny. So I made a little bunny here with some whiskers.
Oh, the big floppy ears.
Yeah, the big floppy
I like
ears
that.
And
look, she used the hummus as glue for the little eyeballs in there. That is so cool. So what a great way to get your kids or grandkids into the kitchen, make a face on a plate, just like this.
Yeah, and I found that when you serve it in a fun way, kids are much more likely to try it. So it's another great way to encourage them to eat those fruits and vegetables.
So have a little dip on the side. Now they can eat this little animal, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, very good. Well, Mandy Bottoms, thank you so much for being with us. Hey, coming up, we have a recipe fit for a king. Literally. Don't go away. Back to What's in Season with Michael Marks. As promised, the doctor is in the house. Dr. Chelsea Zarkon is with us today. You know, April is Cancer Control Month.
Yep.
So we need to talk about ways to prevent and to restore from cancer, right?
Yes.
And it all begins with lots of fruits and vegetables, which I like. I approve of that.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about why diet is so important.
Yeah, so according to the American Cancer Society, most cancers are not caused by genes we inherit. In fact, if you look at
Not caused
by genes we inherit. So if you look at the different cancer organizations, they agree that up to 30 to 40% of cancers are preventable by diet and lifestyle alone.
Up to 40%,
Yes.
4 out of 10 can be prevented just by eating more of this, people.
That's right, and there's hundreds of studies showing that eating fruits and vegetables helps reduce your risk of cancer. In fact, in those studies, the people who eat the lowest amounts of fruits and vegetables have double the risk of cancer.
No way, they
Yeah.
double their risk.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. So here's what we want to do. We want to go through some produce items.
Let's talk about it.
Every one of these produce items you can find at the produce market, right? There's
That's
nothing
right.
strange here.
That's right.
So let's start with cruciferous vegetables.
Yeah, so cruciferous vegetables have to be my favorite for reducing your risk of cancer. They have something in them called sulforaphane. So
Oh,
say
hold on.
that 10 times
Hold on.
fast.
Sulforaphane. That's a 4-syllable word,
That's
Dr.
right.
Chelsea.
That's right. But what the sulforaphanes do is they help protect from DNA damage. And every time I say DNA damage, I want you to think cancer risk. They also help reduce the size of tumor cells and help reduce inflammation that could promote cancer.
Oh my goodness. Now you have broccoli and cauliflower, but
That's
this,
right.
you have broccoli sprouts also,
Yes.
right? Tell
So-
us about these little microgreens.
So broccoli sprouts are amazing because a broccoli sprout contains the entire amount of sulforaphanes that are an entire broccoli plant in just the sprout. So they're the richest source of the sulforaphanes, but if you can't find them at your market, then anything from the cruciferous vegetable family will do.
All right, so it's cruciferous vegetables. Let's
That's
move
right.
over to our greens and tomatoes. I like that.
Yes.
Tomatoes loaded with antioxidants, right? Lycopene.
That's right, lycopene. So lycopene's actually a pigment. It helps give tomatoes its color.
The red.
The red, that's right. And lycopene helps slow the development and progression of tumor cells. Now, interestingly, to get lycopene more bioavailable, you need to cook it.
Salsa.
That's right. Or
Pizza sauce.
Pizza sauce. In the medical studies, they look at pasta sauce and pizza sauce.
I love it.
Yeah, as sources of lycopene for reducing cancer risk.
All right,
So-
and you have greens here. So I have some spinach and kale.
Yeah, greens have a lot going on for them. So greens are a rich source of chlorophyll, and what chlorophyll does is it helps neutralize compounds in our body that could promote cancer. It helps us detoxify them. They also are a good source of folate, which helps protect from DNA damage. And actually, if you take a cup of leafy greens a day, that's about your anti-cancer dose.
Okay, I like that.
Yep,
Onions
yep.
and garlic.
Also, sulfur-containing compounds that kind of similar to the chlorophyll help you detoxify and neutralize cancer-causing compounds. And if you add those to your hamburgers before cooking them, it reduces the cancer-causing compound in the hamburgers.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And finally, some of my favorite. I love these carrots and berries, the little gems in the produce department.
Yes.
And they're loaded, right?
Yes. So both of these are rich in antioxidants. Carrots come from carotenes. We've all heard of beta carotene, but there's actually lots of different carotenes which help give carrots their color. Carrots are good for protecting from malignant cancer cells, and berries are just amazing in general for protecting from DNA damage.
All right, so all of this,
Yes.
your grandmother was correct. Eat more fruits and vegetables, and your prescription today is also eat more fruits and vegetables.
That's right.
Hey, don't go away. We have a recipe fit for a king coming up, so don't go away. Well, thanks for staying with us. This is going to be such a fun segment. I have been waiting for this segment for a long time. You know, athletes need to eat really well, whether you're a young athlete or whether you're a Sacramento King athlete, like Harrison Barnes. We have with us the chef who cooks a lot for Harrison Barnes, one of the starters for the Sacramento Kings. Chef Adam Peckel is with us today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being with us.
Happy to do it.
This is so cool because, you know, people have a wrong idea of athletes. You know, they take in 5,000 calories a day. But they're healthy calories, right?
They are healthy. Well, and they eat a good variety of foods. They're they do love to eat, and they do need to eat those calories. But especially Harrison Barnes, he loves lots of different foods, and it's a joy to get to cook for him.
Who else do you cook for?
I also cook for Kevin Herter so far, and who knows? Maybe we'll see as we go further. There's definitely a couple other guys I'd love to cook for, but they're just such a great bunch of guys.
So, Chef, one of the first questions I asked you, right? Hey, can you find out what their favorite fruit and vegetable is? Did you find out from Harrison Barnes?
I did. Well, I've been finding out for the last 3 years. We've done some trial and error, and there's things that he loves and things that aren't his favorite. But again, he eats a lot of great things. And spinach is one of his absolute favorite vegetables, and strawberries are a fruit that he really enjoys. And both of those are really going right now. So.
All right, so we're going to do a couple recipes. One's a salad,
right. Yeah.
But let's start with our hot recipe. What do we got for our hot recipe?
This is kind of a play on a cream spinach, but a little bit fresher, a little more vibrant. There's a little bit of cream, but we're kind of taking it in an Italian direction. So we've got some spring garlic, that nice green garlic.
Tell everyone what that is.
Well, this is where garlic starts. It's fresh, it's green, it's you don't have a bulb yet. And it just has that great garlic flavor, but bright and fragrant. And this time of year, it's all I use.
So you just finely chop that?
I just finely chop it just like you would garlic or scallions or anything like that. And then we've got, of course, good old Meyer lemons. They're going big right now, so we got some Meyer lemon zest.
And I don't know if you noticed his lemon shirt. I love the lemon shirt.
It was kind of an accident, but it's one of my favorite shirts to wear.
By the way, named after Frank Meyer, who used to work for the USDA, and he found it in Japan.
See, this is like the 7th thing I've learned already today.
All right.
We're learning lots.
So a little zest.
And then I've got some Calabrian chilies, which were one of my favorite ingredients. Harrison does like his food spicy more often than not, so we add a little bit of spice in there to kind of zap it up.
We're going to go ahead and put this. We've warmed it up. We've warmed a little olive oil in here, right?
Yeah. So you get in a bunch of that garlic, maybe about half of that. Yeah, about half of that stuff. And then we'll do about a teaspoon each of the lemon.
Oh, hear that sizzle?
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Oh, see, that's perfect. And then, and then here, this is as spicy as you like. I'd say 1 little teaspoon. We don't want to get too crazy. These do have great flavor, but they do pack a punch.
Okay, so we're going to put this back on the heat, let this saute, sweat a little bit, right?
That's right. Just want to kind of sweat out those aromatics. A little bit of color is okay, but we just want to bring out those oils and get those flavors mingling.
Okay, so I'm back here working. So what are we going to do now, Chef?
So they love their salads over there at the Barnes house. So one of the things that I like to do is a strawberry and spinach salad, which
you have a different kind of spinach here.
Well, we've got 2 different kinds. So we've got our Bloomsdale spinach that's been blanched and just chopped up a little bit for that dish there. And then we've got Savoy spinach for the salad.
I love Savoy is the crinkly spinach. If
it's a little bit pointy and just really nice. It's got great texture, doesn't sog out, so I like it for a nice hearty salad.
So you got to triple wash this, don't you?
I did. There was lots of good washing going on. Wash and spin. You got to spin it, get that extra water off of there. So this is a really simple salad. I didn't even have a pre-made vinaigrette. We're just going to go with like a really nice balsamic.
Okay.
And this spinach can take a good amount of dressing because it's hearty and you don't really have to worry about over dressing too much. But again, we're just going with some nice simple
I can't burn this back here, Chef.
Yeah, let's get that spinach in there.
Get the spinach in?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Okay.
There you go.
All of it?
Let's go, all in. All in. Mix it around a little bit, and then we're gonna add just a little bit of that cream over there.
Okay, you keep going over there, Chef.
I am. It's a little salt and pepper, balsamic, and oil to dress this salad. Simple as that. We'll get our strawberries in there as well.
Woohoo! If you could smell this over here, it's so good.
And what I like to do also with the strawberries, I didn't do it right here, right now, but get a little of that balsamic and that olive oil on those strawberries and kind of let them marinate a little bit beforehand. But I kind of just did the quick version right now since we're doing double duty. And then we'll just dress this up a little bit and we'll get out onto our plate.
And you did your own onions.
Well, that's so, sometimes with fruit and salads, it's a little too sweet. And so I really like to find balance in this salad. And so we'll get some of our strawberries on there.
When does the cream go in, Chef?
Let's do it. Let's go about a quarter of that cream in there.
All right, I got it.
And then, yeah, so you mentioned the onion. So again, with those sweet strawberries, I want to bring some brightness and a little bit of acid to this dish as well. And so you get the nice little quick pickled onions. And then it kind of balances with the sweet of the strawberry. And then same thing here with feta cheese. So we've got this nice salty cheese, which again is just going to provide more balance with those strawberries.
And I see some California pistachios.
And then pistachios.
Here.
And you know, there's so many different things with this little salad. It's so super simple, but there's just tons of great complementary ingredients that are coming together to make that salad.
Chef Adam Peckel, thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure.
2 recipes fit for a king, ladies and gentlemen. That smells good back there on the heat.
I'm looking forward to that.
Well, thanks for joining us for this month's What's in Season. We'll be back next month.